And we're back once again on Last Call. Last Call with the alcohol only on the Last Call YouTube channel. And joining me now, this lady will be fighting once again. It will be Bellator 276. It will be on March 11th, only on Showtime. And she'll be taking on Cat Zingano in a featherweight scrap. Well, she hopes to get back on not just the winning ways, but back in a title hunt. I give you all the way from Minnesota herself. I give you it's Bam Bam herself. I give you Pam Sorenson. So Pam, you Cat Zingano. It's a big fight here. Do you when you have something like this who you've watched and you've seen? Is there ever a sort of like a starstruck in terms not just of her, but of just the moment like, holy crap, I'm fighting a UFC fighter. Holy crap, this is somebody I've actually know. This is kind of cool.
Not so much. Every fight is just kind of another fight. I'm not one to really get too starstruck or anything. Yeah, not really. She's just another person to me.
Let's say starstruck, but I mean, this is probably easier. Like most people you mentioned, hardcore people know who they are. So it's like, okay, I'm fighting so and so. Okay, so that sounds pretty nice. You'll mention to people like, oh, by the way, I'm fighting, Caitlin Leung, and some people go, oh, I know who that is. Is this sort of a bigger deal just because you can name drop her and like, oh, I know that girl. She's on UFC. Oh, she fought for the title. Oh, that's the girl who beat Amanda Nunes. I mean, does it help in terms of just more people know who you're fighting, more sponsors get excited? Does it help having somebody who is a sort of like somebody that's the casual fan goes, oh, I know that girl.
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, it does help. Because what people are always like, oh, who are you fighting? Who are you fighting? And then you'll like say their name, and they're like, oh, what do you know about her? And at least with Cat, most people who follow MMA know of her, so it's not so much like, what do you know about her? Tell me all about her. Like they already know. So, yeah, I think that's been the biggest thing.
Is it easy and also like figuring out what to do? Because as you said, this isn't like Roberta Samad or Helena Koleski where it's like, okay, we gotta watch some YouTube shape, or all right, my trainers are gonna do some video work. I'm not gonna, I don't get involved with that. You've seen her fight because you've probably seen her on Bellator. You've definitely probably seen her via UFC. I mean, everybody knows her fights with Misha Tate, with Amanda Nunes, Juliana Pena, Ronda Rousey. Does that help you get a sense of, okay, this is what she's going to try to do. This is what she does. I'm used to her, and I'm ready for this kind of fight.
Kind of. I mean, in a sense, yes and no. Because like you said, when I fought Roberta, it was like, all right, I could find maybe one fight of hers. Like I didn't really know anything about her. I wasn't exactly sure what I was getting into. At least with Kat, like all her videos are out there, all her fights are out there. I mean, she even has some Muay Thai fights out there. So yeah, it kind of made the research easier, but at the same time, she's not always gonna be the same fighter. So I feel like somebody who has a lot of footage on them, it can almost give you like this false sense of like, I know what she's gonna do, and it's not necessarily what they do.
True, but it's you get an idea, like at least like, okay, she does this, she can do this, so it's like, okay, I understand what she can do in a sense. Maybe not everything, but at least a general idea, rather than somebody like, okay, I have no idea about this person, and I'm watching a footage of. I think of a fight in her in Brazil. There's a bunch of people standing around. I maybe caught like 20 seconds of the fight. I have no idea what the hell this bitch is doing.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful in that sense. And like people always have like their tendencies, like like Kat, her tendency is to go towards her wrestling. So you might not know exactly what she's gonna do, but it's like, oh, she gets hit, she's probably gonna take me down, or she's probably gonna try to take me down. So it's helpful, but I don't put too much weight into it.
So let's talk about the new addition to your gym. You got to be a new jiu-jitsu coach that actually, I guess, has some UFC experience. Who is the new coach, and how much does that help you out having somebody who has the grappling chops to go, okay, he can take me down at will. I can get used to somebody who I got on my game against, and he knows exactly how to maybe fight a style that Cat brings to the table.
Man, it's really like there are just levels. I mean, all of our coaches, all of our jiu-jitsu coaches, they've all been black belts. Some of them have had some MMA experience, but this new coach, his name is George Bazera, I think is how you pronounce his last name. We just call him George. But it's the tiniest little details that he can say, like, oh, grab like another inch higher or move your hips just a little bit this way. He has a way to make like small little adjustments that make a big difference in your game, and he's able to kind of change some of like the common jiu-jitsu things to be a little bit more suitable for MMA. So we've been learning a lot.
Wow, like, give me some things that you've learned there, and let's say the last from this fight camp. Like, what are some of the things you've noticed you've improved on because of him?
I would say some of like the get ups and some like the guard passes and stuff. It's all just tiny little details that it just makes things a lot easier. Like not at so much effort, so you don't gas yourself out trying to do all these big explosive movements. It's like, oh, just turn a little bit this way, and it does the same thing as this big explosive movement that really zaps your energy.
We'll go back to this fight in a bit. Take me back to your last fight, though. It was you versus Arlene Blencowe. What went right? What went wrong? When do you feel yourself sort of like the fight getting away from you? Like, when you look back, when did you feel like, oh crap, okay, this is sort of, what did me in?
I had a lot. It's not an excuse, but I had a lot going on in my personal life leading up to that fight. I felt like my head wasn't in there. So I feel like I kind of lost that fight before I even set foot in the cage. Yeah, I don't know. I watched that fight a couple of times, and it, like, just not finishing any of the takedowns that, I got in really deep and just didn't do, like, my head just wasn't there. But we have that fixed. I'm completely focused on this fight. So hopefully that doesn't happen again.
I remember we had Deanna Bennett on a while back, and she mentioned that it's easy for everybody to say, "Oh, but why didn't this happen?" You guys don't talk about that a lot. Like, "Hey, look, I broke up with my boyfriend, a week before camp. It threw me off." Or, "Hey, by the way, my mom is sick and I was worried about the entire camp. It threw me off." Or, "Hey, my kids have COVID. I had to deal with that while I'm at training. I was just not in that." Like, for you, how tough is that? Where I know you don't, it sounds like, oh, it's an excuse, but it's not like you can just go in there and everything's taken care of. You still have like a second life, whether it's, you're working a second job, or, oh, by the way, you're taking care of your parents. How tough is that, having sometimes to just try to block it out, but you can't because it just affects you during camp. You're always thinking, oh, crap, this is happening. Oh, this is happening. And all of a sudden you notice, yeah, I'm just not in it.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard because my boyfriend of several years he moved out, like, I think 3 weeks before the fight, and so then I was it was a surprise, well, kind of a surprise, and then I was left with a very high energy dog to take care of by myself, and it was fine. We made it work. It's working out just fine. But, it was definitely on my mind, as much as you try to block it out and say, I'm just not even going to think about it right now. Like, it's always there. Yeah, I don't know, but we got that figured out. So it won't be an issue moving forward.
Speaking of the boyfriend, how tough is that for you? Just finding people who get it. And when I say get it, like, it's tough because as we mentioned before, we had Casca on as a co-host. This is like a baby for you. This is your MMA career is a 24/7 baby, which needs to be fed. Whether it's you're training, whether you're working out, whether you're, trying to hunt for sponsors or, get coach, looking for, new coaching seminars, or you have to cut weight, or you have to do all this here. Your life revolves around your career. How tough is it sometimes finding people or even getting a family understand, like, yeah, this is a full career here. I just can't just, take time off and go, oh, yeah, well, I'm going to have a weekend off because I'm a fight camper. Yeah, I can't have dinner, with steaks and beers or, some Chardonnay because, hey, I'm in fight camper. Hey, I can't go out and have ice cream or just, do some pickle tickle. I'm in fight camp and I got, 5 a.m. training session the next day.
Yeah, it is hard because people who, even if people train, if they don't fight and they don't fight seriously, like they don't get it. So just like you were saying, if there's a group outing and they're going to the restaurant next door to the gym or something, they're like, yo, you can't come hang out. Like, so you want me to come watch you eat and watch you drink. Like that's not fun for me. And you're like, other serious fighters get it. But or like well, can't you have just one? Can't you have just a little bit? And it's like, you can't give a starving person like just a little bit and expect them to stop. So like, no, I can't have just one. And when it comes to, somebody you have a romantic relationship with, when they're another fighter, because my ex actually was a fighter. So he did understand that, like, hey, we can't go out on date nights during like every night or every weekend during fight camp. But not everybody gets that. And like, I've definitely dated people where they're like, oh, we can't go to Chipotle. Isn't Chipotle healthy? Like, I'm not saying it's unhealthy or it's bad food, but it's not on my diet and then I can't have it. And it's hard to find people who get that.
And even in how much also difficult is it that they don't get, like, this can end quickly. This isn't like golf where you can keep doing this until you're like 70 years old, or, oh yeah, this is like, being a trucker or being like, a doctor where, oh yeah, I can get retirement later on, or oh yeah, I can take time off. I mean, this is a short career fighter. It can just end within like a year, 2 years, where basically the bottom falls out, or hey, I get seriously injured. So even with the current ex, how tough was it to explain to him? Look, I don't know how long I'm gonna be here in Bellator, so I gotta make the most of it. And I sometimes gotta do that extra sort of sacrifice.
Yeah, like that's a good point. um because like, I hope that I have another 5-6 years or so, but you never know, an injury. There are so many things that can take people out. I mean, a lot of people, you blow out your ACL in training camp. I mean, that could effectively end your career at any moment. It could happen to anybody, no matter how much you trust your training partners and whatnot, or it could happen in a fight. So it's like, no, I can't put this fight off, or I'm not taking 6 months off to go and party with my friends all summer or anything. So that's definitely an issue also.
Do you ever get envious of other fighters in terms of what they have like Arlene Blencowe, what we talked about here? I know that you don't want to crap on your gym, but when we talked with her, her feeling is very simple. I have a huge advantage over Pam Sorenson. I can pull, if I need to train, I can go, oh, there's Holly Holm. Oh, there's Michelle Watterson. Oh, there's, Carlos Condit, Greg Jackson, Mike Winklejohn. That's an array of people with more knowledge who know how to beat you and know how to train and help her learn different things and prepare her for everything. She has with top gyms where they have everything, anything, probably even better, better sort of secondary coaches like nutritionists, mental health coaches, strength and conditioning, the best equipment. I know you love your gym, but do you ever look at other gyms, other fighters like Cat, Cyborg, Arlene, and go, man, I wish I had, our gym had this or that. I wish I had, more top line female sparring partners. Man, I wish we had like that extra thing which they take for granted. But I would go, hey, I'd love to have, a second, my own personal like mental health coach, or, a top of the line nutritionist, or, a former world champ, female world champion I could spar with.
sometimes I do wish that that I had more training partners, but I will say there are definitely benefits to having a smaller team. We can get together and work out together basically whenever we want. We can get like a small group together and I can work just on me. Because you name all those other names that are at whatever that gym was, Jackson Wing. How many of them are training for themselves? So it's like you have 3 or 4 other fighters who are all there for their camp, and yeah, they're gonna help you for yours, but like I'm kind of fortunate enough where I can pick some training partners and work. The focus is all on me and my fight. And the same kind of goes with the coaches, is like my coaches aren't spread so thin because we don't have this huge team. We don't have 50 people all getting ready for a fight. There's me and maybe 1 or 2 other people, so I kind of get more of the one-on-one attention. So I mean, there's pros and cons to having a big team and having a small team. And I feel like for me personally, I do better with a small team just because I'm homebody. I don't like a huge circle. I keep my circle small and it works better for me personally.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. Is there any female fighter in the gym who can even beat you though? I mean, because I'm guessing that helps when you have somebody who can push you. Iron sharpens iron, that whole thing. Is there any female fighter right now in the gym that you look and go, okay, well, if I go half-ass, she can beat me? Or is that one of the things where you look, go, okay, I got to spar with guys because unfortunately none of the female fighters in this gym come close. I can beat them, at 75%, even 50%, efficiency.
Um, I would say I spend most of my time training with the men in my gym. There's a couple of high level men that are around my size. And we train very well together. We've been training together for years. But I mean, we do have a decent sized Muay Thai team, and we do have a good amount of females in there. And I mean, some of them are really good. I mean, it's not the same as training for MMA, but I definitely get good sparring rounds in with some of the females at my gym.
All this is going on, as we mentioned before, and we're fighting once again. It's going to be in March. All this is happening here for you. How much longer do you want to do this? I mean, because we forget, that you've been fighting for. It's been a long time. I mean, I'm looking at your record, and you started in 2015. You did this. You did kickboxing also in your career. So I'm guessing you've been fighting for close to 10 years long. So how do you keep the passion when, as you said, there's a lot going on in your life, whether it's family, whether it's boyfriends, whether it's just life. It is a hurt business, which means you're getting beat up during the gym. How much longer do you see yourself going, okay, I'm going to be in this sport another 5 years, 3 years? Like, do you have a time frame in your mind where you're going, okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop fighting when I get to this age, or when I do this, or after X amount of years.
I don't. I mean, I'm hoping I'm going to keep doing it as long as I can, do so at a high level. I have no desire to have kids, so it's not like, oh, I need to stop fighting before I'm 40 so I can have kids. And I'm fortunate enough where I'm not really that injury prone. So I mean, I shouldn't say that. I probably just jinxed myself. But for the most part, I stay pretty healthy. I don't get a lot of injuries, and hopefully I have another 5, 6, 10 ish years. I will keep doing it as long as I can, as long as I possibly can.
Last time out, you fought in, of all places, Hollywood, Florida. This time out, you'll be fighting once again in the Family Arena in St. Charles, Missouri. It's going to be a lot of fans. How nice is that for you? Because remember when you fought in Uncasville, Connecticut, against Roberta Samad, there was not many people there. And during COVID, we talked about how people are fighting in like empty arenas, studios. There's no crowd. For you, how nice was it? Where at least with Arlene Blencowe, there are people. there's cheering, there's fans get excited. I know after a while you got fighters go, oh yeah, it's business as usual. But after everything that you've gone through, how nice was it having like some normalcy of like, okay, we're finally getting back to what things were before COVID.
It is nice. For me, I usually tune the crowd out anyways. I don't really usually hear them, but walking out and like after the fight, it is nice to be like, oh, look at all these people that are here enjoying the sport of MMA, and they're you know, they're cheering you on, or even if they're booing you, I don't care. Like they're there to watch the fights, and it's really good to see them after that kind of weird period where everything was empty, and it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure I can hear myself breathing, and that's not normal. And like I can hear my coach, I can hear her coach, I can hear everything. I definitely prefer having the crowd there to kind of tune some of the other stuff out.
It all comes back down March 11th. Most people say that you have a huge advantage. She's expected to win. Bellator wants Zingano versus Cyborg. So if she doesn't win, there's going to be a lot of people going, "Oh, this is a failure for you. Why aren't you winning? Why are you not fighting for a title here?" Does that give you more confidence? Going, you know what? Screw this. I'm coming out with spinning back fist. Or hey, you know what? I'm gonna try a flying knee. Does it give you more confidence? Going, you know what? Yes, I know she's supposed to win. I'm gonna win here. She's gonna feel more nervous. I'm just gonna go out there and just throw caution to the wind. Flying pile drivers, all that stuff. I'm gonna catch her off guard because I am basically going in there with house money and I can do whatever the hell I want because I don't have to worry about pressure or expectations. I'm just gonna go out there and fight my fight.
Yeah, I think all the pressure is on her. I think overall, I mean, the people can say whatever they want. A fight is a fight. Everybody has a chance at winning a fight. And I honestly think I'm more well-rounded than Cat is. I mean, she's a very good fighter. She's a very good wrestler. I just think all around I'm more of like the full package. So yeah, I'm totally for kind of going out there and surprising people and taking Cat's spot in line for that title shot.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it's going to be March 11th, and while she's planning to upset the apple cart and become, dare I say, the next number one contender for the featherweight title, I give you all the way from Minnesota. I give you it's Pam Sorenson. Pam, before I let you go, where can fans check you out at? Where is the Twitter page, Instagram, the website, and who are the sponsors going to be for this fight? Now that more people know who this is, and they're going, "Oh yeah, I know that girl."
Well, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Pam Sorenson. Yeah, my sponsors are the Cellar Gym, Forged Fitness, Zimu, Living Consulting. Sorry. Yeah, I'm just looking for a good fight. March 12th now. I think they changed the date on us.
And now, before we end, we had of course Easy Alex Palazi, he's working on his dream sponsor, which is Arby's. We've had Grant Neal with Bass Pro Fishing. Is there a dream sponsor that you have? Like you going, I'd love to have like Coors Light or Pabst Beer or Victoria's Secret or even like Juicy Couture. Is there anybody you're looking go? Hey, I'm out there. I can do some sponsors. Hint. I'll even get your brand tattooed on my shoulder. I'm that willing to have you on as a sponsor.
Well, I would say it would be a toss-up between, well, I couldn't do it because I think Monster sponsors Bellator, but I love Bang energy drinks and Lululemon. I do like their stuff.
Hey, you can call Blue Lemon and go, hey, I'll wear a Blue Lemon hat if you just, officially, have me as your sponsor. Hint, nudge, nudge. Hell, I'll even, you can have a dancing Blue Lemon character walk me to the ring. I'm willing to do that there.
I'll give it a try.
Pam Sorenson, ladies and gentlemen, once again, always an honor, pleasure having on the show. We come back. Stay tuned for more great interviews coming up once again, only on It Is Last Call. Last Call with the alcohol, only on the Last Call YouTube channel.